Welcome, everyone. I'm here for this episode of What's Your Truth? My name is Kedra. I am an educator with evanhealy, and I'm excited to welcome today's guest, Victoria Silks. She is an educator of the system of color care called Aura-Soma. She is a consultant, and she has worked as an interior designer, fashion designer. She has done all of those things, and she's been my teacher of Aura-Soma. So I'm excited to have her here with us today. Victoria, I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about, explain maybe what Aura-Soma means and tell us about how it's rooted in ancient wisdom.
Okay. Well, first of all, I wanted to say I'm really honored to be here with Kedra. It's a wonderful reconnection that we've just made, and I love that color is what brings us always back together again. So much to say, and of course, Aura-Soma is mostly a visual system, so it's an interesting to try and put it all in words. But the word aura means light, and the word soma means body, and so Aura-Soma is working under the assumption that we are bodies of light. And color and light therapy has been around since 2000 BC. Light is essential to our mind, body, spirit health, of course. And Aura-Soma understands that there are numerous layers to our energetic field that's beyond our physical. And light affects all those things. So it works from the understandings of numerous ancient wisdoms. We have Pythagoras, who's bringing us understandings of number and geometry. We have India bringing us the understanding of the chakras and the light centers. From Greece, we have the 4 elements and the use of crystals and gems. In Egypt, there's been light therapy around since the pyramids. China, of course, teaches us about the meridians and the qi. And the Jewish mysticism brings us the Kabbalistic tree of life, which is very specifically connected to Aura-Soma because our founder, Vicky Wall, was Jewish, and her father was a master of the Kabbalists. And then we also have input from Rudolf Steiner's work and in the world of biodynamic gardening, from which many of the ingredients come. So color's the thing that links all that together.
That's wonderful. And as you know, evanhealy is rooted in biodynamic and organic farming and family farms. So, and all of those ancient wisdoms, I love that it's inclusive of many different traditions and cultures and systems, bringing all the best together.
Yeah,
it's inspiring.
It is. It's really not a dogma. It's the best of a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Thank you. And so I can see that you're in your office. I should say you're in Mexico. You're in Barra.
Yeah.
And I can see that you've got some of the equilibrium bottles behind you. Would you be able to explain to us what an equilibrium bottle is and what it looks like, how you use it?
Right. Sure. So what you see behind is actually a poster of all of the equilibrium bottles. On the other side of them are all the real ones, but I have some real ones here, and I can hold one up and show you. Maybe you can see that that's kind of a deep blue, which we call royal blue, over a beautiful lighter blue called turquoise. So some of the bottles have 2 colors in them. Some of them just have 1 color. Some of them are clear on the top and have a color on the bottom. So there are 118 combinations. So we get a little bit of everything. And a person would choose from their intuition the colors that they're drawn to beyond their likes and dislikes. It's not about their favorite color. Sometimes a client will just choose 1. If they're having a more official Aura-Soma session or a consultation, I would ask them to choose 4 bottles. But it's in a consultation, it's not like a reading. It's not, I'm telling you what those colors mean. The client is guided via questions to discover their own story. Vicky Wall, our founder, would say, you are the colors you choose, and these reflect your being's needs. So a client shares their story. I'm helping them through my experience and my training to kind of help them figure out where their choices are coming from. Is this a more physical choice? Is this a more emotional choice? Is this a choice that comes from a really balanced place? Is this a choice where I need more of this? Gee, I have such low energy, so I'm really attracted to that red. Or, gee, I'm really upset with that person, so I'm also attracted to that red. So, there's so many different places. So I'm going to help the client figure that out. The reason we can have two colors in one bottle is because there's oil on the top and water on the bottom. And so the oily parts of the plants are in here and the watery parts of the plants. And the color comes from the plants and the minerals. I wish you could all see my mineral collection. I have over almost 200 samples of minerals that are the exact minerals that are in the bottles. We don't crush them up. We make a tincture of them, and then that liquid's put into the bottles. So it really covers the plant world and the mineral world and the world of light. We're getting 3 different ones. When you use a bottle, you shake it up. So I would shake it up and make an emulsion of the oil and the water together, and then I put it on my skin, and that goes through the lymph system. Then the lymph system repercusses on the endocrine system, which is, of course, connected with the chakras. And then it's like, aha, oh, this is working. Mm-hmm. And it works differently for each person,
Right. And so this combining of oil and water, if I remember correctly, this is going back to Cleopatra?
Yes. And the ass's milk, and yes, it is. And also, interestingly enough, I think evanhealy, since they're into biodynamics and the way they combine things, the way that the oil and the water are combined in the production facility is like a lemon skate. It goes back and forth, back and forth. So it mixes things so that they're really harmoniously together. Yeah.
Right. And energized.
Yeah.
Nice.
And as many as possible of the ingredients are grown on the 500-acre farm that Aura-Soma has in England. It's the second largest biodynamic farm, and other ingredients have to be outsourced, of course.
Mm-hmm. And so, you've talked a little bit about we are the colors we choose. So we're drawn to certain colors for different reasons. Is there a way that you could speak a little bit about how to kind of tap into those choices and be a little more intentional with our color choices?
Sure. Well, the first thing to do to be more intentional about your choice is to realize that the color in nature is the wise one. Natural color has most of the wisdom. So the more we listen to our own inner nature, the more that we're really drawn to what we need. So for some people, that means slowing down and listening on a different level. I mean, where are we going to find color in our life? In nature, in our food, what we eat. A lot of people are very conscious about that. It's not a mistake that most of the healthy foods in the world are colorful. Our clothing, what we wear every day. We open up the closet. Oh, is it all one color? Are there other colors? Do I end up just wearing black because I live in a city? How do I decorate my house? What do I put around me? What kind of artwork do I have? What kinds of other self-care modalities do I bring around me? All our choices change as we become more aware of ourselves. So Vicki felt that over time, as you used Aura-Soma as a serious part of your self-care, that you would come to know a color she would call your soul color, which would be the true aura above the belly button, literally that color that arose the minute you were conceived, and that would be something that would be really important to you. So over time, you would use different Aura-Soma bottles, and finally you would just, one day you just say, no, that's it, that's really it. And it wouldn't come from an intellectual place, because as we study Aura-Soma and as we study anything from an education standpoint about color, of course, there's a lot of scientific background, a lot of it, but it's not necessarily what somebody else's book says is your favorite color or your soul color. It's what you really feel. So we can become more aware of it as we become more conscious. And then it's right in front of you. You say, oh my gosh, it's like buying a new car, right? When you buy that new car, you see one like it all over the place.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And so I noticed when you were showing me the bottles there that there are some deeper, richer colors, deeper hues, and then there are these kind of pastel tints. Can you say something about the frequency, the range of color?
Absolutely. So very quickly, of course, from a scientific standpoint, the visible spectrum resonates on certain wavelengths, and those are called nanometers. And so red will vibrate always on around 700 nanometers, and violet at the other end of the spectrum is going to be much shorter and faster waves. They vibrate around 450. So that science is not going to change. There's no value judgment about that if it's better or worse. That's very objective. And every culture has its own color language, which is then subjective. So when we see a bottle like this, that's the clear over the red, that's going to resonate at a certain amount of nanometers. What that red means to you and what it means to me is different. And it can be different for me today than it is tomorrow, unless maybe this is my soul color, and then I'm going to know it even better. So that red has a message. Now we can think symbolically, well, stop signs are red, right? Yeah. There's the red carpet. Why do we have a red carpet rather than a blue carpet? There's the red light district. Yeah. All sorts of, now I'm speaking more from an English and American standpoint because colors have different meanings in different countries. On a physical level, what might you think about for red? Well, it's very action oriented, right? It can be very grounding. It can also give you a lot of energy, you know, it can perk you up. I'm on our red blood cells. When our red blood cells are in good shape, then we've got a lot of energy. Mentally, red could be much more about concentrating. I'm really thinking about something. Doesn't mean you can't think in another color, but red can stimulate that. Emotionally, well, we've got passion, don't we? Lots of passion on one end. We could also have anger on the other end. So here again, a balanced place, a deficient place, an excessive place. And spiritually, red is very much about awakening. And these are ideas and concepts that have come through Vicki and through Mike and Claudia Booth, who are the couple that run Aura-Soma at this time. Mike's the main teacher since Vicki passed away in 91. And so everybody has a little bit of a different interpretation. But now we take this lighter version of red. This is pink, right? So now we've added more light to a color. And so that vibration becomes higher and finer and more, in a way you could say it's a little more toward the spiritual end. Here again, pink is not better than red, but it's a lighter, finer vibration, right? So maybe we change the red message of passion to compassion in the pink. So the language can shift just a little bit as the colors lighten up. If a client chooses a lot of light colors, that's wonderful. We just find out where those choices came from. On the other hand, I might hope that I'd see something a little deeper that brings them down to earth. Maybe there's an opportunity there to be a little more grounded. Vice versa. Let's say my best friend's husband comes in and he's just watched his football team and he picks a bottle that's just his football team colors, right? That's great. Because this is what I love about Aura-Soma is that it can literally be the language of the football team colors. And at the same time, it can be the language of when I was incarnated on Atlantis, if that's where someone wants to go, right? So we've got this huge spectrum of language and how it works. The more we add the light, the higher, the finer the vibration. Yeah.
Yeah. And it sounds like there can be a process of kind of folding back layers so that there's that first bottle that one chooses And then the second bottle, maybe the first bottle is the football team. And then the second bottle is a little deeper, maybe like the layers are kind of opening up, or they're different phases in the
Absolutely.
selection.
Yes, absolutely. There are different phases in the selection, and to be, not to spend too much time on this because we could spend a lot of time on it, but over time, Vicki felt that in a consultation, instead of just choosing one bottle, she wanted to choose 4. And she also realized that when people chose a bottle that had the same color top and bottom, there was a little bit of a different influence than if someone had 2 different colors that they were integrating, because you can't open it up and just take out one color. So a 2-color bottle is always integrating 2 different aspects. Yeah. So she came to feel that there was kind of a timeline that was looked at when there was more than one bottle, but it's not exact. It's not an exact thing. A lot of things have changed in the years since you've been in Aura-Soma as well. I think there's a lot more flexibility as people became more open to looking at it from different angles.
And I love the idea of, well, that shaking that bottle together, that red and that clear, that really is shaking up to
Pink.
a new color, to
It's
pink. Yeah, to
the color,
passion,
but
right?
we're adding light to the red. Now it doesn't actually look pink like the other pink bottle, but energetically it's getting to be that way. Yeah. And now it's interesting. I just shook the red one because this bottle says shake me, because that's my sample, right? So if you shake it, I've literally personalized it. So now this is my book. So I guess I need to.
It's yours now.
This is mine.
Well, maybe that was meant to be.
Beautiful when it gets all shook up.
It's the oil and water combined together. That's something that's at the heart of evanhealy, is combining oil and water. So I love that. So I wondered if we've been talking about the equilibrium bottles, but are there other methods of using Aura-Soma?
Absolutely. Many people actually are found out about Aura-Soma through other modalities, through a chiropractic healing or a massage healing, where someone's used some of the other products. So very simply put, Vicki was very aware of these different layers of our energetic field, and she made a product for each of those fields. So whereas the bottle works on the body, there's something called the pomander, which comes in a little thing like this, and it's a liquid form, and you put a little bit in your hand and rub it together, and then you move it through your auric field, and then after a little bit you take a smell, so it has more of an aromatherapy aspect. The pomanders are very very popular, and they also come in a spray form, so which is for the room. So a lot of people have just learned how to use these. They're called air conditioners, and they just spray it around. Much nicer than Glade. But so that's a pomander, and that's one thing. Then the next thing is something called the color essence. Many people have heard of the Bach flower essences or any kind of essences. So Aura-Soma has a line of essences as well. And those are usually for people who are a little bit more sophisticated in their approach to color. They're more subtle. You don't get an immediate result out of them. And then there's something called the quintessence, which is just like a pomander, but it works in the astral plane versus the electromagnetic field. So it's a little higher and finer. And then the very last one's called an archangel, and it's a little spritzer that goes over your head. And that's for working in the upper astral plane. So just depending on what colors you choose and how the consultation goes, I might recommend one or others, but the client's always they know best. They know what they want to work with. So yes, people have come to Aura-Soma because they've smelled another one of the products someplace else. Yeah.
And so that color essence, is that something that you ingest?
No.
Okay.
Let me get it. It's right here. It comes in a little bottle like this. It says for external use only.
Okay. That's good.
All right.
You said Bach flower, so I was thinking of ingesting.
Well, this is it. You see, a lot of people are used to Bach flowers, but Aura-Soma has made it very clear that it's for external use only. On the acupuncture points.
Okay. Yeah, but it's an
Honest,
essence.
yeah.
Yeah.
I asked people if they've used Bach flower essences, and if they have, I said, well, you already know how to use an essence. I think Aura-Soma needs to say they're for external use only, just to make sure.
Yeah, no, but I love the idea of the concentrated essence that can be applied
Yes.
in many different ways, but on the pressure points and acupressure points. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we could talk for a long time. There's so much to say, and you have so much to share, and so much wisdom. And I find that I'm really drawn to not only the idea of healing with color, but just that self-care process of engaging with color in so many different ways. And Aura-Soma provides all these different levels, and there are so many entry points, and it seems that there's just so much to discover, and it can be a long process of just slow discovery in the same way that we self-discover. So
absolutely, and I'm sure it's very true with evanhealy, is that you have a beautiful range of products, and you can buy those products, you can put them on your shelf in the bathroom, you can look at them, but unless you use them, they're not going to really do anything. So creating your own daily ritual with whatever you've chosen to use is really important. I always just remind my clients about, I ask them what their favorite food is, and if they say, well, I love salad, they say, well, there's that beautiful salad right in front of you, and you're looking at it and you're smelling it, but you got to eat it in order to get the nutrition. And it's the same with the Aura-Soma products, and I'm sure with the evanhealy, you have to make it your own ritual in order to get it into your daily life in a meaningful way. And then as you start to notice the differences, some people are good at journaling. Others, I suggest, their dreams might be more colorful. They might all of a sudden react to a different person in a different way. Just notice subtle different changes. It's not an allopathic system. It's not take this pill for this thing, right? It's very homeopathic in its way that it works.
Victoria, tell us how we can get in touch with you, and so our viewers, how can they learn more about Aura-Soma, your consults? I know you offer consults, and you're teaching, you're writing. Tell us about how we can get in touch with you.
Thank you. Very simply, my website is victoriasilks.com. Then there's the home website, aura-soma.com, has tons of information and beautiful videos about the farm and about the teaching academy, which is called Dev-Aura. Some of the classes the training classes are being taught online by the head of Aura-Soma, but as a teacher, we're not allowed to teach the courses online right now. But I do offer a number of specialty classes. I have a crystal course and a course on the archangels, and all of that's on my website. I can do sessions via Skype and get paid via PayPal, and they're usually about 2 hours long, and they're about $150 US, and then I can lead where you could buy products in the States, because there are a couple of good distributors.
Thank you, Victoria.
I would encourage anyone to go to Amazon and find Vicky's book, Aura-Soma, Self-Discovery Through Color, if you're interested in the history of Aura-Soma a little bit. And then I'm proud to say that my first book has come out in November, Awakening to the Stones, an empath spiritual memoir. It's on Lulu Press, but I'm happy to send a free PDF copy, because this one's kind of pricey with all its color photographs.
Beautiful, Victoria.
So you just have to email me.
Okay, well,
Email. I guess you need an email.
Well, you know what I'll do is we'll link everything below the video, just so that everyone can click on it.
Gmail. Victoria Silks at Gmail.
Victoria Silks at Gmail. Wonderful.
And I hope to be traveling by next spring when things with the COVID are better. And but there might be some brave souls who want to come to Mexico and go to the beach and learn about color.
It's always a pleasure and just so wonderful. As you say, color always brings us back together and brings us together. So just so happy that you could join us for evanhealy. What's Your Truth? It's been really wonderful. Thank you so much, Victoria.
You're
And
welcome.
thank you. Until next time.
Next time.
Lots of
Hasta luego.
yes. Thank you.